Hello, grade 8s. This is multiplying and dividing integers. We're going to use the tiles to start, and then we're going to find a shortcut to make our lives a little bit easier. So here's the first question. It says, represent and draw the following products using the integer discs. So when we have positive 3 times a positive 4, I want students to know that this means 3 groups of 4. So the 3 is like 3 groups of, the multiply I always say means of, so it's like 3 groups of positive 4. If I had to draw that, again, remembering that a dark circle is a positive 1, maybe I'll do it up here. So a dark circle is positive 1, a hollow circle is a negative 1, right? So I have 3 groups of positive 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I had 3 groups of positive 4, that equals positive 12, right? Here are 2 groups of negative 5, right? 2 groups of negative 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 groups of negative 5, that's negative 10. This is 3 groups of positive 3. I think you guys are probably getting this, right? 3 groups of positive 3, that's positive 9. Here, this is 6 groups of 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 6 groups of 2, positive 12, right? That's the first group. It's kind of the easy multiplication. The next one, a little bit different, okay? So we represent and draw these products using your discs. So now we have negative 3 times negative 4. So notice that suddenly, instead of this being positive, it means negative. So what this means is the opposite of 3. The opposite of 3 groups of negative 4. That's what that means. This means the opposite of 3 groups of negative 4. Well, the opposite of 3 groups of negative 4 is 3 groups of positive 4, right? Because the opposite of negative 4 is positive 4. So we're going to draw 3 groups of positive 4. And there we go. 3 groups of positive 4 looks like positive 12 to me. Okay, next one. This is the opposite of 2 groups of negative 3. So the opposite of 2 groups of negative 3. What is the opposite of 2 groups of negative 3? Well, it's 2 groups of positive 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's positive 6. So the opposite of 2 groups of positive 3 is positive 6. This means the opposite of 5 groups of positive 3. Well, the opposite of 5 groups of positive 3 is 5 groups of negative 3. So I have to draw 5 groups of negative 3. 1, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups. This is the opposite of 5 groups of 5 groups of positive 3. It's 5 groups of negative 3. And that looks like to me negative 15. And finally, this is the opposite of 4 groups of positive 2. Well, 4 groups of positive 2, the opposite of that is 4 groups of negative 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. There's 4 groups of negative 2. That looks like negative 8 to me. Now, something interesting happens when we look at all of those questions and all of their answers. We try to discover like a quick little simple rule. So here we are. Here's the questions that we just did, right? So we had positive 3 times positive 4 was a positive 12. Positive 2 times negative 5 was negative 10. Positive 3 times positive 3 is positive 9. Positive 6, positive 2 is positive 12. Well, you notice that for sure when, look at these 2 questions here, when the signs are both positive, and this one as well, whenever the signs are both positive, looks like the answer is positive, right? And when the signs were different, the answer was not positive. When the signs were the same, they were positive. When the signs were different, they were negative. The numbers themselves looks like you can just still multiply. 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 3 is 9. 6 times 2 is 12. Wonder if that works down here. Well, let's take a look. Well, here, look at this. We have same signs, two negatives, answer is positive. Two negatives, answer is positive. Look, the signs are different here. Different signs, the answer is negative. Different signs, the answer is negative. Multiplying still works. 3, 4, 12. 2 times 3 is 6. 5 times 3 is 15. 4 times 2 is 8. So we come up with this rule. You still multiply the numbers. Oops. Multiply the numbers. That doesn't change. What you have to know is the sign. If you have same signs, it means the answer is going to be positive. If you have different signs, the answer will be negative. So different signs, negative. All right? So that's a simple rule. If you can remember that, now we're going to use our little rule that we know here and try to do just some of these questions. I'll do them very quickly. You can stop and look back and pause whenever you like. So here we go. So here we have different signs in the first one, right? So I know the answer is negative. 6 times 6 is 36. Final answer, negative 36. Signs are the same, plus and plus, so the answer is always positive. 5 times 8, 40. Positive, negative, different, negative. 3, 7, 21. I hope you're getting this. 4 and 9, 36. Different signs, negative. What do we do down here? Well, this is something that we did in class that you're going to have to remember. All you do when you have more than 2, I'll just write it down here. You want to count the negatives. So count the negatives. If you have an odd number, the answer is negative. If you have an even number, the answer is positive. So what I'll do is I'll circle. Here's the first one, number 5. So this one's negative, and that one's negative. So I have 3, right? 3. 3 is an odd number. Because remember, even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm having a hard time writing here. And odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, etc., right? So 3 is odd, which means that this answer will be negative. Now you simply just multiply the answers continuously as you go, right? Can multiply. So 2 times 1, that's 2. 2 times 3, that's 6. 6 times 1, that's 6. So the answer, negative 6. Right? So let's follow. Count the negatives in the next one. So looking at the negatives, there's 1 right there, 1 right there. Ignore the positives. I only have 2 negatives. That's an even number, right? So the answer is going to be positive. Now let's just multiply left to right. 4 times 1, that's 4. 4 times 5, that's 20. 20 times 2, that's 40. Final answer, positive 40. Okay, and that's how you multiply. Pretty straightforward. And guess what? Dividing, no different. Dividing integers is exactly the same as multiply. Same rule as multiply. Same signs is positive. Different signs, negative. The only difference is you divide, you don't multiply, right? So here we have negative, positive. Different signs, the answer is negative. Now you simply divide. 18 divide 3. Well, that's 6. And what I tell you is if whatever answer you get, if you multiply, if you go backwards, reverse, 6 times 3, that should give you 18, which it does, right? So I know that 6 is the correct answer because 6 times 3 is 18. 18 divide 3 is 6. So multiplying and dividing are reversed, right? So here we have a positive and a positive. So the same signs, answer is positive. 50 divide 5 is 10. And I know that because, again, if I multiply, 10 times 5 is 50, right? So here's the answers. I'll just circle them. Here we have, oh, this should be divide. Pardon me, a little mistake here. And actually this doesn't work. I have to actually fix this question. Oh my. Okay, so I'll make that a 40, and I'll make this a 49. fix that up real quick. So let's say I had a positive 40 divide negative 5. Different signs, answer's negative. 40 divide 5 is 8. Right? Negative, negative, same signs, positive. 49, 7 is 7. What do I do here? Same as the first one. Count the negatives. Negative, negative, negative. That's 3. 3 is odd, right? So odd means negative. Now you divide left to right. 30 divide 2, that's 15. 15 divide 3, that's 5. Right. Next, count the negatives. Only 2. 2 is even, that's positive. So 48 divide 2, that's 24. 24 divide 3, that's 8. 8 divide 2 is 4. And so you can see dividing, that's about as far as I take it with dividing. It's pretty straightforward, same as multiplying. But I hope this lesson helped you, and I wish you all the best with integers.